Batman, big fan. Shout out to you. Will LA Knight ever be world champion? Okay, we're not going to spend too long on this one because we have touched on it a few times. Just so you know, by the way, the countdown show is just a commercial right now, so we're not missing anything. But I think he will. I think that it's okay that they keep sort of delaying it because genuinely, I think they brought him in to be Baron Corbin. So they brought him in as experience. I think if I was to tell you right now, I've heard a rumor. I haven't, by the way. But let's say I've heard a rumor that Baron Corbin's not going to be a world champion. They've no plans for Baron Corbin or Rusev to be world champions. They've just brought them back because they're experience. They pad out the mid-card. They're good opponents for like Trick and Carmelo and Javon Evans and, you know, people that we are focused on building, people that we see as being the future, people that are still young in their late 20s, early 30s. We're focused on them. So we need some experience. We need some credible opponents for them to work with. And so we've got Ray and we've got Rusev and we've got LA Knight, right? I could totally see LA Knight being brought in for that reason because LA Knight joined WWE so late in his career that I genuinely do feel that way, that he was brought in as just, is a good person to have on the roster. We could use him as a manager. He could be a tag team guy. He can be a face. He can be a heel. He could be in a faction. You know, he'll go out there. He'll know what to do. He's got loads of experience. You know, great. So for me, he was brought in for that. I don't think they ever expected him to get over in the scale that he's got over. I think that has absolutely caught them off guard. I think they thought he might get a bit of buzz. You know, people will enjoy the catchphrases, whatever. But I don't think they expected him to become the megastar that he is, shifting the merch that he shifts, doing the numbers that he does, right? And so I think there's been a bit of a period where they wanted to just see, is this a flash in the pan? Or is this, like, real? And I think it became apparent that, no, this is real. He's actually over now. And I think he's been rewarded by being used a lot more than what they intended. I think he's had a few title opportunities, notably in Saudi Arabia. He's never won them. He's never won the world titles. But, you know, they keep sort of dangling that carrot, making the fans want it, and it never quite getting there. But, I mean, he's being used on a regular basis. He's getting loads of TV time. They're sort of milking the crowd reactions. They're sort of making the fans want to see him achieve a bit more than he has. I know there's people saying, yeah, but you're going to miss the boat. Well, there's no evidence of that. I mean, you could make an argument that maybe he was a bit hotter a few years ago than he is now, but it's not a problem. I really do not get the impression that he is on the verge of losing his support, you know? I think he's over. I think he's popular. I think he's still shifting merch. I think that eventually, yes, they will put the belt on him. I wouldn't be shocked if he won Money in the Bank. I wouldn't be shocked if he wins Money in the Bank and walks around with the briefcase. I mean, you could absolutely do that this year. The thing is, though, I forget what age he is now. And let's not worry about the past few years, right? Let's just talk about where we are right now. And where we are right now is LA Knight is 43. And in 4 months' time, he's going to be 44. Now, you have to be honest with yourself, right? When I ask this question, if you was Triple H and you was in charge of creative and you're looking towards the future and you're looking at who's going to be your main eventer over the next 10, 15 years, and you got Trick, and you got Carmelo, and you got Oba, right? And you've got Ethan Page, and you got all of these people. How desperate are you to invest and get behind a 43, 44-year-old performer who's, I don't know, maybe got a few years? I don't know. I mean, for me, when you hit around 45, That's where I sort of feel like, you know, your career's done. Anything we get after that is a bonus. And so we're looking at someone here that I think has exceeded expectation, has got a good fan base, but he is not someone that WWE have ever really wanted to pull the trigger on because they've never had plans to pull the trigger on him. He's got himself over. That's fantastic. They'll take that. They'll take the merch sales. Lovely stuff. But yeah, is he someone that they want to see, you know, main event in WrestleMania, being a multiple time champion, taking that spotlight away from Obers and Tricks? No. I'm just being honest. No, I don't think they do. And I can't blame them because I think it's probably that he joined too late. Could we have pulled the trigger a couple of years ago? Yeah, sure. But you got to remember that we were getting behind Cody finishing the story. We had CM Punk coming back. There were other options at the time. And so, you know, here he is, 43, few months, 4 months away from being 44. I think if he gets the championship, we do it for the fans and for him, more so than for the future of WWE. So can he get there one day? Yes. Do I think he'll be a multiple time main eventer and all? No. I don't think that was ever in the plans for him. He's joined late. It's very late in his career. Never say never. Anything can happen in wrestling, of course. But when you've got younger options like Bron Breakker and Obafemi and Trick Williams and Javon Evans coming through and Ethan Page, who's obviously a younger option as well, it's very, very hard to justify going with an LA Knight. And some people will say it's ageist, but I mean, it's not, because this is sports entertainment. And in sports, you've got a shelf life. And everyone knows that, like in football, you're not gonna attract the same transfer money if you're in your 30s as if you're in your 20s. You know? I mean, if Man United wanted to buy Harry Kane, he's like 32 going on 33. I mean, he's not going to cost as much as if he was 24. That's not ageist. That's just being realistic that he's, you know, getting towards the end of his career. And you might get a few good years out of him. But there will come a point where his numbers maybe, you know, start to drop away. We don't know when that's going to be, obviously. It could be 3 years, 5 years. We don't know. But there is a gamble there. And the same is true with LA Knight. You know, by the end of the year, he's 44. How long is there left in his career? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? I don't know. Again, same situation. There's a gamble there. So do you want to invest in that? Or would you rather invest in Bron Breakker and Obafemi and Trick Williams and Ethan Page and Gunther and, you know, pretty much anyone else on the roster that's younger? So some people will say ageist. It's not that. It's just a reality of sport. And even though this is not a sport, it's still sports entertainment. Age is still a factor. And, you know, I think for me, that's why we are where we are. So it's no disrespect to him or his skill set or his fan base. I think he just joined WWE too late. And when he did join, I don't think they had the plans for him that I think some fans hoped that they would have.